November. Wow. Okay. Friends, in case you didn't guess, this is the November video. I am on top of things. Today is December 2nd, and I'm filming this video. I'm sick though, hence the physical presence. So I've got my green tea. I just look a little disheveled because I'm not feeling well, but I have plans tomorrow, which is Saturday, and then I don't know what Sunday's gonna bring. So I was like, you know what? I've got some time. It's either take a nap or film a YouTube video, and I don't want to ruin my sleep for tonight. So here we are. This is what's happening. Okay, some updating to do this month. I'll try and keep it quick. Whatever, but that's wasted. It's never quick. First things first, let's talk about the cards I pulled for November. So remember my last video, how I was like, oh, I totally forgot to pull cards. Maybe I'll go do that right now. Yeah, I didn't. It took me a long time to go pull cards. So I only actually ended up pulling from, oh my God, this deck that I can't remember, Reclaim. And 2 cards fell out. So we have Integrity and Trust, which I feel like are just good messages all around. Trust and integrity. I did try to keep those in mind for November. Now something kind of went down at the beginning-ish of the month where I asked a tarot card or tarot deck what would happen if I did something, and it was this something was having a conversation with someone, and the 8 of Swords fell out, and immediately I was thinking like, I don't know, shame, embarrassment, something along those lines, or regret, putting yourself in a position of, oh shoot, I shouldn't have done that. And guess what? Your girl did it anyway. And yeah, it didn't work out for me. So I kind of was mad that I didn't listen to myself. And because of that, I just couldn't bring myself to really pull a lot of cards. I kind of took a break from pulling cards just because, not that I was mad at the cards, I was just mad at myself for not listening. So that happened. But yeah, such is life. So I didn't pull any other cards for November, just the 2 Reclaim Oracle jumper cards. Let's start with memories. The mems. Guess what I did? I crossed something off my tarot bucket list. I got my cards professionally read this month, or last month rather. So that was an experience. It was a lot of fun. It was something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I've been wanting to go to this reader for a really long time, who is just north of me. Like, we're talking like 20 minutes from where she reads out of. And finally everything aligned and everything worked out. The reading itself was really good. I totally know exactly where everything is coming from that was said. It was kind of comical, in the sense that it wasn't exactly positive, but it was, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it was an experience and it was fun. But the big thing here is that my cards were read by the one and only Garden Goddess Tarot, Thea. So that was exciting. I've been wanting to meet her for a really long time, and I got to cross something off my bucket list at the same time. So that was a huge thing for me in November. That was a lot of fun. We talked for a long time afterwards, and on the drive home, my body felt like it was buzzing because I had a conversation with a like-minded person about a hobby of mine, a passion of mine that I don't get to talk about ever, really, except by myself on the floor of my bedroom to my phone a couple times a month, maybe. And yes, I did that thing a couple months ago where I did the tarot and oracle exchange, but those people were all very, very new to their practice, and they were all still on the fence about tarot. They were very oracle-minded people, which is fine. It's fine if you're oracle-minded people. We talked a little bit about oracle, but they were really afraid of tarot. So I didn't really get to have those kinds of conversations with them. So I was honestly like, alive with a different kind of life when I left Thea's reading space. So thank you so much for that, Thea. That was an amazing experience. Can't wait to see you again. And it was just overall fun. It was funny. I enjoyed it. So that was basically the only memory for November. That's pretty much it. So you will recall, maybe, if you watched it for October's video, the Sassarabito Tarot. Let's get my stuff situated. I edged it in black with a Tombow, and it was the kind of Tombow, someone told me in my comments that it comes with like a watercolor marker as well, so you can blend it and bleed it with other colors. So that's why everything was rubbing off on my fingers after I edged the Sassarabito in black Tombow. So I won't be doing that again. In fact, someone else said they use regular old Crayolas in my comments, so that's currently in my wish list on Amazon. It's a giant box of Crayola markers, so that's what I'll be using from now on. But someone else gave me a very, very excellent suggestion. So whoever you are, thank you so, so much, because it did work. And their suggestion was to go around the edges with a microfiber cloth and go one by one until you're done. So that was a tedious task. But what I did, I got smart, was I bought these from Dollarama. Instead of like trying to finagle a cloth, I watched Dead to Me and I sat there and I was like, watching Dead to Me 78 times. So yeah, so that worked out. This was a brilliant idea. I actually kind of thought there'd be like black all over them, but there's not at all, which is extremely bizarre to me. But yes, so we'll do the little test here. It's not 100%. I find especially like if my hands are a little bit more oily, which I'm very careful with my cards. I usually try to always have clean hands when handling them anyway. I don't want to leave grease prints or fingerprints or smear anything. But yeah, look at this. I mean, it's there ever so slightly. Where are we here? But not nearly as bad. I hope that it might not even pick it up. It's on the middle finger a little bit. But yeah, Dollarama microfiber dusting gloves. I might do my ceiling fan later. I don't know. See how I'm feeling. So that worked out, and whoever suggested that, thank you so much, because you saved my life. I was super worried about those edges and using that not so cheap indie tarot deck. So that was awesome. That was my experience with that. It was a lengthy experience, but worth it because it worked out. Oh my God. We're gonna have an avalanche here in a minute. Okay. Shopping, my favorite category. Second favorite. No, first favorite. Followed closely by the decks that I'm using. Okay, first things first. What did we buy? I bought a Peggy bag. This has been on the list for a really long time for my Everyday Witch tarot. This is my Everyday Witch tarot box. It is in rough shape, friends. I've even taped it along the bottom. The corners are all dog-eared. And that makes me sad. I don't like my talk boxes to get destroyed. Oh, it's even actually like ripped all along the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. So this deck goes in my Weekender bag and it just kind of stays there. It's got a little side pocket in the Weekender bag, but obviously it bumps around and whatever, and that's what's happened to the box. The deck itself is in pristine condition because I've hardly used it. And what I wanted was to put this in my purse so that I would use it. I've been finding myself wishing I had a tarot deck with me, especially at work. I used to keep this in my purse when I had a bigger purse, but now I've switched over to like a fashionable, what's that called? Fanny pack? That's the word I'm looking for. But it's not like your 80s style fanny pack. It's a nice faux leather one from Poppy and Peonies, actually. Love it. And there's just not a whole lot of room, but this box would definitely be in way worse condition if I was putting it in my purse. So I finally got a micro Peggy bag that I thought suited it. I have this problem where like I really think my bag should match the deck, and that's a problem because you can sit there for a really long time waiting for the perfect bag to come up and you just want a bag. But I've reinforced it with an elastic band because it does go in my purse, and who knows what happens in that thing when you're not looking. So I don't want the little, it's just a wrap tie to come undone, and then that would be a whole other disaster. So yeah, and I think it goes really well with the backs. Perfectly. Couldn't have done it better. So thank you, Peggy. Yet another beautiful Peggy bag. The book I bought. This was an impulse buy. It's been on my list for a long time. I should have researched it a little more because it's not exactly what I thought it was. And don't ask me what I thought it was because I'm not entirely sure. But it's Journaling the Tarot, a little book of big questions by Andy Matzner. This bad boy, I kind of thought it would be a good way to... like, I knew it would give journal prompts. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. What I was thinking it would do. So here's an example. Okay, here's a really good one. So for the Ace of Cups, it gives you like a whole bunch of points to think about, talk about, journal, mentally assess, whatever you want to do. But at different times of my life, these questions would be answered differently. So I think what I was expecting with this book is that the questions would be, I don't know, not centered around what I'm thinking or feeling, but centered around what's going on inside the card, if that makes any sense, which I don't think it does. So here's the first point for the Ace of Cups. What relationships are beginning to flower in your life, and what do they offer you? So that could change week to week, month to month. Like, that's not necessarily always going to be the same answer. So yeah, I don't know. So what I think I'm going to do with this is going to be my deck study book for when I get a new tarot deck. Now, there are a lot of questions for each one. Like, it's 2 pages for each one, I believe. Yeah. So that would take a really long time. So I think when I get a new tarot deck, I might just kind of like go through and pick and choose maybe 2 and 3 from each one, and depending on the aesthetic of the tarot deck and how the deck makes me feel, go through the questions and pick which ones I want to answer about the deck that way. So I think that's how I'm going to handle this book. They don't really leave space to write in it. So I'll use like a little separate book for each deck, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I haven't really got a new deck yet, so we'll see. He has some other books. Andy Matzner has a couple other books that I'm interested in as well. But I definitely think I'm going to want to, I don't know, we'll research those a little more before making purchases, which is what I should be doing anyway. It's something I'm disappointed in it. I'm glad I have it. It's just different than what I thought it was going to be. What else did I buy? Okay. So I got the Pocket Animal Spirit Wild Unknown. Me in the tin. So pretty. Here was my plan for this, and we will circle back to this. But I have the Tarot in the Tin version, and I have both regular, large, mass market versions of this. My plan was I wasn't going to get this. I had no desire to get the tin version because I have the regular version. But then I was like, you know what? I don't use these decks all that often. They're taking up space on my shelf. And if I got the tin versions, I could get rid of the big boy versions and then make that much more space. I love these decks. I have a special relationship with the tarot version, big size. So I don't really want to get rid of it, but by downsizing it, I'm not exactly getting rid of it. I still have it. It's just the smaller version and creates more space for other things, other decks. So this went on sale. It was like $14 Canadian. So that's why I bought it. And when it came in, I was going to, I don't know, Facebook Marketplace my big boy versions and have more room. We will circle back to that. Other things I bought this month were these 2 bracelets. So this is from a Canadian company in Ontario called Pura Vida, not Pura Vida, Pura Vida. They're on Etsy. I have made many, many, many bracelet purchases from them in the past, and they actually closed up, like they were done a year or so ago. So I was really, really sad. I love their stuff. And then they just reappeared and started selling again. I was like, oh, what? And they had like a what's the special Friday? Black Friday special. What's the shopping Friday? They had a Black Friday sale. So I got a couple things for gifts for people. This is hematite, which hematite is one of my favorite grounding ones. It just makes me feel, I don't know, more calm, more centered. I sleep well with it in my bed, so that's that. And then this is sandalwood. I love the smell of sandalwood. Oh my God. It has this natural, if you don't know, go buy some sandalwood. It has this very natural incense smell to it. I love it. And sandalwood essential oil is insanely expensive if you're just wanting sandalwood by itself. So this was the next best thing. And I love it. I like, if I'm sitting at work and I'm doing this, I'm like, what is that amazing smell? Someone has like a really nice perfume on. I'm like, is it my deodorant? I'm like, oh, right. It's my sandalwood bracelet. 10 out of 10 recommend. Again, Pura Vida on Etsy. The other thing I bought, I broke down and I bought a crystal. This was just a couple days ago. Like, I think it was like the 30th. This is one that's been on my list. If you're on my Instagram, you'd see it. It is Peach Moonstone. Look at that. So pretty. And we had this like marketplace come to my work and hang out in the lobby and sell a whole bunch of stuff. There was food, there was toys, there was lotions, all kinds of stuff, and there was crystals. So this was $15, pretty on par. Sometimes they're more expensive. I felt $15 was fair, and it's on the list, and I had the cash on me, so I bought it. So first crystal purchase in a really long time. Kind of proud of myself. And speaking of crystals, I had to develop a new way of storing my crystals because right now they're all sitting on top of my dresser and it's literally taking up the entire surface of the dresser. I have an IKEA Malm, the 3 drawer. The entire surface is crystals. I'm like, okay, I feel like this is like wasted space. Like I could be putting other stuff on here that is kind of scattered all throughout my room that doesn't really have a place to go. That's just looking messy. So I tried to clean up the surface of my dresser by doing this. So that mostly contains this type of size, like my palm stones. I'm looking at it in case you're wondering why is she looking off into space. It's mostly all my palm size stones. It didn't even put a dent in it. So there is another side to that, which I was going to put some tumbles in, like some of the bigger tumbles that would create some more space, but not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, friends. But anyway, I thought that was a neat way of storing them. They're just kind of hanging on the back of my closet door so I can see them, kind of go and grab one if I am feeling it, hang out with it for a few weeks, days, couple nights, whatever I feel like. My life asleep. 100p asleep. But yeah, how do you store your crystals? I don't want to put them somewhere where I can't see them. And I don't necessarily want to put them all in like a little mini trunk or something. Because again, some go to the bottom, you can't see them, you're not reminded. And I like being able to walk by and being like, oh, I want to take this one today. Yeah, let me know if you've got anything else, any other ideas that you guys do. I'd love to hear it. Okay, now we are on to what decks I worked with in November. So because I had my little moment, my little hiatus, because I didn't listen to them and I was mad at myself, for the first part of the month, I kind of didn't really have a lot to do with tarot or oracle for that matter. Again, I was just in a mood about it. Then halfway through the month, a little more maybe than halfway, I decided to work with this deck. This is the deck that's in my leather pouch this month because I can't decide who permanently wants to live in the leather pouch. So the deck I decided to work with that came back and bit me in the ass is the Wild Unknown. I was like, you know what? I'm getting rid of it. I might as well work with it a little bit, have a little moment with it before we part ways. And now I like it. Now I don't want to get rid of it. So I just doubled my Wild Unknown stock for zero reason. Now I just have tin versions, which I don't even know if I'll use the tin versions. Maybe I have friends who really, really like, especially the Oracle. So maybe when I go away for weekends, I'll bring the tins and pray that someone wants a reading. Because most of the time, if you have been watching my channel, I will pack tarot decks and pack up a whole thing, and we don't even end up using it. So I don't know. I don't know what I've done. But yeah, so I worked with the Wild Unknown. Mine's in pristine condition because I hardly work with it. It was the first tarot deck I ever bought. I bought it before my RWS Plaidback, before any deck. And I thought I could teach myself. I thought I could get on ye old Pinterest and teach myself how to use this deck, and it turns out you cannot. I do not recommend this deck for beginners. I did do research on YouTube beforehand where someone, it was like 50-50. Some people said it's good for beginners, some people said it's not good for beginners. It was not good for this beginner. So mine's in pristine condition. So I think I'm going to continue to work with this into December. It's a nice winter deck, I find. So it's going to stay in the leather bag for a little bit. I don't really have any plans to work with any other tarot deck for the month of December just yet. Maybe the Intuitive Night Goddess, but that'll probably be a little bit later into December. Yeah. So, committed to getting rid of a deck, and then I touched it and I was like, oh no, I can't get rid of it. So in case you're wondering how my mind works, welcome. Yeah, so that's the deck I worked with, and that was basically it, because like I said, it was a rough go for me with tarot because I didn't listen. We'll be doing that again. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have for December. I was gonna do an Only 10 Decks revisited. And I was just gonna do the regular Only 10 Decks because it's been about a year since I've done the first one, and just see how my taste has changed. But then Thea and Rose, oh gosh, those words are in there somewhere, came up with the Only 10 mass market decks. Yeah, that's the hashtag. So I think I'll probably do that one in a couple of days, depending on how I'm feeling, depending on what I have time for. And that's it, I think. I don't know, we'll see. I love it when people come up with hashtags because then I get to do something. I wish I was smart enough to come up with my own. That's it. Enjoy your December. I'm sure I will see you at some point throughout the month. Thank you for spending time with me, and maybe now I'll take that nap. Have a nice day.